Okay, so do we all need a wellness break? I
Yeah.
probably need a wellness break after
You do a
this, right?
1-minute yogic breathing exercise soon.
Thank you. All right. You know, back in June at one of our events, Chris Hamilton, who was on the stage yesterday, he said that the whole world of hospitality, real estate, and the monetization of hospitality real estate is going to be the biggest fundamental shift happening pre-pandemic, but accelerated by the pandemic. So I want to ask Robert and Morgan first. What do you think will be the biggest fundamental shift in hospitality real estate coming out of COVID? So Robert, we begin with you.
Right. Well, I think what he was referring to is probably mixed use, and how it's not just about a single hotel, rarely these days. So, and also the whole big box idea. It's you want to diversify more distinctly. It's not just you can fit everybody into the same hotel. So it's more segmentation in terms of the product. But yeah, the mixed use aspect in terms of funding through residential sales, and whether it's combined with retail and things like that, I would say. And then also, I think maybe the bigger one is looking at things on a per square meter basis or a per square foot basis rather than a per room. Like, it's getting away from RevPAR, look at how much you're actually earning per square foot. And
Right.
that means using a lot of the excess space that a lot of hotels currently have, and designing better.
Which is what one of the startups was trying to address as well, right? It's the monetizing spaces.
Exactly,
for
use that
new-
lobby, make
for
some money
new-
out of
for
that
new
lobby.
Yeah.
Work lounge, yeah.
Morgan, what do you see happening in Europe?
Well, I see that I see a lot of investors coming to me and say we're interested in getting more exposure to real estate, related to hospitality. I think that's proven to be a very resilient part of the real estate investment landscape. And whether it's for hotels, whether it's for co-living / co-working, whether it's for campsites, which is very specific in Europe, and in France, in particular in France, or resorts, I see a lot of people interested in getting that kind of exposure to real estate, because tourism has proven to be something we need. So there's a long-term future and positive future for that industry, and I think it's also has proven to be resilient against inflation, because you can rise your prices. If you're a hotel owner, you can rise your prices. So it's very resistant against inflation. So a good category that I see, I see a bright future for that category as a real estate investment.
Right, so he hasn't lost his appeal despite the pandemic. So we go to hotel operators' perspective, right? And let's go to Kunvisini. Can I call you Pui?
Yes, certainly.
Okay, so for your perspective, what is the biggest fundamental shift in hospitality for you?
Well, first of all, I would see that wellness will become more mainstream. Hotels and spa, they will try to move forward to wellness sector. And secondly is what people missed during the past 2 years. One of them is definitely human touch, because people were locked in, they go online. And when I say human touch, it's the sensual experience. Sensual experience is not only what you see, but how you feel. Because what you see you can see something on the screen, you can shopping online, but what you miss is actually the human, the communication, the connection, and that's something that we should deliver and be more value to that.
Well, that's why we're so happy that you made it from Bangkok for this conference. Thank you very much for coming. And Puneet, what do you see?
Yeah, I think the way we live and work has changed, and it came up pretty much as a very strong theme of WiT, right? That was one. The second thing I picked up is that a lot of even the startup pitches and all are talking about some diversity, but they're also talking about exploration of the great outdoors, right? So it's not just about anymore the hotel experience in-house, but it's also how it extends to outdoors. That's one of the key things. And I think I don't like to overuse the word sustainability. I like to call it concerned citizenship, because my concerns as a traveler are perhaps emotionally and at a spiritual level are very different than someone else's. So I think being concerned citizens is important. And I think what I see becoming very, very powerful is quality over quantity. So that is another aspect which I think has drastically changed, that people want to get a high quality experience rather than have a lot of things packed into that experience. And yesterday I think Hari spoke about something really interesting. The destination is the teacher, it's not the servant. And I think that kind of resonated with what we are seeing.
Okay. And Robert, how are the conversations that you're having with real estate investors in Asia in particular, how have they changed, you think, post-pandemic? What
Changed.
boxes do you have to, what boxes do they have to tick these days?
Well, the ones who are looking to buy, if you're looking at those kind of investors, they want distressed prices.
and are they finding it post-pandemic?
Not so much, no. So I think the ones who are most serious and have a bit of money, they're looking at, let's say, the better located assets, the higher quality assets, and are willing to pay now sometimes even more than what they would have paid pre-COVID. I mean, COVID time, or pre-COVID, yes.
Right. So to the point of, we're talking about the digital nomad, right? I mean, do you see hospitality players adapting their product? I mean, and this is a question maybe for Morgan as well. Do you see the hospitality players adapting their product for this market, or people are just not sure how big this market is at the moment?
Oh, they're definitely, I mean, I wouldn't say across the board, but I mean, there's even, distinct products that are made just for that type of market.
Yeah,
and I think
exactly.
everyone's considering it.
Yeah, look at companies like Outpost here in Asia, companies in Europe and US called Outside. They're building basically hotels for digital nomads. It's for now a small units like 40, 50 rooms, located in great locations by the beach or city center in great locations. Average daily rate is like $130, which is pretty high. In average length of stay is 29 days. That's a super appealing customer base for hotel owners. So I'm sure we'll see more and more of that. And it's a community travel. So people travel as a community, so they can move from one spot to the other, spend a few days there. So I do believe this is a long-term
So
trend.
more dispersal of real estate as well as more dispersal of tourism. I don't want to touch on communities in a while, but I'm just going to skip straight to wellness, if I may. And let's take a look at the size of the wellness economy. And this is something that Robert shared with me. Clearly a really big market to chase. Can I have that slide on the wellness economy? And this is clearly a segment that Raksa is going for. Now, Raksa is a strategic partnership between a real estate player and then the Bumrungrad Hospital, right? So it's the first partnership between a real estate company and a hospital to create a new model in hospitality. So tell us how that first foray is doing now that travel has restarted in Thailand.
Well, so the pickup has been accelerating, especially in the last quarter. We have been getting international guests since mid of last year, but last year was a bit slow, but this year it's very significant, and we already get repeating guests already, and the ratio of repeating guests for wellness is normally higher than a hotel. And in the past 10 months, we have this family of guests who already repeat for 3 times already, and a long stay as well, because they are here to do detox and de-stress. Well, because Raksa, we don't only offer room and food, we offer wellness programs such as de-stress, as I mentioned, detox, immunity, mobilization. That's why, they can come in, they get their holiday, but also getting their health sorted as well. So it's 2 birds in a stone for customer.
Okay. And Robert, I mean, when you show this chart to the real estate, development companies, is that something that goes, whoa, is that something that we are going to go for?
Well, we're not trying to pitch them on it. It's just sort of background. But they're ones who come to us and say, we want to do a wellness-oriented project. And then you can go quite deep into that. There's varying levels of wellness that you can get into.
Right.
But the idea is that, every hotel basically should have some aspect of wellness, no matter how deep or soft it is, really. It's just become kind of a thing you address in how you relax the guest when they arrive.
Right. So this one looks at the different areas, as you say, it's quite deep, like different areas of wellness, right? And if you were an entrepreneur, Puneet, Morgan, and Wisni, right? If you were an entrepreneur, which segment would you invest in those sectors? Shall we go with Morgan?
Yeah, that would probably be nutrition, just because it's a personal conviction. Is like, I think we should stop eating and drinking things that harm or hurt us. So I think that's started by nutrition and education. That would be probably my preference, because this, you have to start from the ground.
Okay, and Puneet?
Yeah, I think it's a combination today. If you take a look at the Como Shambhala brand, right, it's a combination of these activities. It's about nutrition, it's about healthy lifestyle, it's about well-being, and not just, and it's further gravitating into other allied areas of both internal and external well-being, right? So internal is more about the mind.
Right.
And I think that is a huge chunk of investment, and in times to come, maybe in a few months, you will hear some announcements from Como, which are very exciting. And you will find that we are gravitating to just a completely different level. So already heavily invested in it, going to continue investing even bigger.
Yeah, actually it's interesting that Como, started before even the term wellness and all that came in. Like you started in 1991, and the owner, Christina Ong, opened Como the Halkin in London, right? And she said that instead of over-the-top abundance, I wanted to create something more understated and enduring. So fast forward 30 years, how have luxury tastes once again shifted?
I think the great thing about visionary leaders are that they see the reality emerge way before it becomes apparent to everyone. So I think 30 years down, if she looks at what she envisaged as a vision, she'll be very pleased with the way the world has transformed into that direction. But now I think the focus of Como as a brand is basically a combination of how do we kind of build a virtual extension of the actual on-site experience. That's one. If I was to look at a couple of words to say, okay, what are the two words to enduring and to the vision that's added, I think it would be really about participative, that how do we make it participative, and a good example of that is workshops. So you've had photography workshops, which are stress relief in a way, actually. So it comes again from a point of being of well-being. There are food workshops that happen. So there are different participative workshops that are taking place, which are, I think, something new. And I think the one word which I really love is empowering stories. Suhan, that comes from you too. Every time you travel, you have a story to tell. If we can get our clientele to narrate such stories after each trip, I think that's what we want. So again, I won't use the word immersive and all of that. I would just say empowering stories.
Okay. And Visni, is Raksa like covering all of it, right?
Yes, our group is expanding, and so we are covering most of that.
All right. So you have in Bangkok, and I know we're going to talk about the joint venture later in outside Bangkok as well. Are you looking at international expansion?
Yes, we are going global expansion.
Right. And where are you looking at?
Maybe I'll share that in the next year, WiT.
Okay. And Robert, you've been watching the hospitality space for a long time, right? And if you could pick a couple of names that you think are really making very interesting, clever moves into this space, which brands would you pick? I'm going to put you on the spot there. Which brands would you pick?
Brands in the wellness space. The ones that come to mind are the ones that have been in there in a long time, actually, like Six Senses as a brand. Other ones that are highly specialized in that, Saniva as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So you seem to be picking those that are specialized rather than sort of general brands that say, okay, we're going to create a new brand that's just going to look at that.
Yeah, for sure, because that just is the awareness of what they're about and what their focus is. It's otherwise too, spread out.
Okay. So the other, the other thing that we want to talk about is community-powered hospitality. And I know in Asia we've actually had a lot of that where, lodges are built around communities in Thailand, for example, Hill Tribe, right? But, Morgan was talking to me about, that investors are looking at smaller models around community-powered hospitality. Are you seeing that trend coming up?
No, I wouldn't say now investors are looking at that. I think just me personally, I'm looking at that as an investor, but I don't represent the community of investors. I think, for me, I started by a very simple assumption, a very strong conviction for me. I think hospitality can save the world. So micro-hospitality can save the world. And for me, micro-hospitality is something I can develop, but it's really something that's community-powered. So if you completely flip the value proposition from a hotel. Hotel should be first built to serve a local community, and then eventually serve a traveler, a customer. But start should the micro-hospitality should start by serving a local community, helping solving the poverty, education problems. And if you're able to serve that local community, you create exceptional experiences that create great moments for travelers.
Okay, that's a very romantic view of hospitality can save the world, right? And so I'm going to go to Robert because he deals with, real estate developers and owners and all that. Do they think they are in this industry to save the world?
No. No, they're in it to make money, yes.
Is there a change, you think, in the sentiment given that customers, again, we're going to bring in sustainability, right? It's a big word. It covers everything but sustainability, wellness, well-being, and all that. Are you seeing a shift a little bit in that sentiment, especially in Asia?
Well, it's a shift in the sense that they have to. It's almost a mandatory component of anything you're going to do these days, whether it's for marketing or even through special financing or whatever. It has to be part of what you're talking about, but it doesn't mean that that's their primary motivator.
Right, so it's not like they want to, but they have to.
It's reactionary, I would say. There's a few developers that are putting it front and center, but generally it's reactionary to support what they're trying to accomplish, which is maximizing their gains.
Maximizing their per square foot or per square meter rather than per life.
Ultimately, it's real estate, yes.
All right. But for Como, right, when you are now going for management contracts as well, right?
That's right.
Rather than just your own properties.
Right.
So do you find that therefore you are actually in a better position to win deals over, the general brands that say I can create this boutique, design, community-powered hotel model?
I think for owners that are looking for that level of consciousness in their investments, definitely we stand an edge, right? Like I said, in the few
But
months.
are they very few and far between?
I would say yes, they are very few and far in between at the moment, but I think as this trend becomes reality, or business reality, that's how they're going to operate. I think there will be a lot more interest in looking at very small differentiated brands with a niche, and they would want to invest in that.
Right, the airlines are actually coming under pressure, right? So the airlines are really taking a lot of moves trying to sustainable aviation fuel and all that. Do you see the hospitality industry making really big moves? Because I don't know if it's a trend, but I think it's already here.
Oh yeah, it's here, and everyone's trying to do as much as they can and to be able to talk about it.
To be able to talk about it, okay.
Yes. Marketing, all about marketing.
All right, so now maybe MK Real Estate is maybe setting the example here, I don't know, right? Do you see yourself as saving the world, saving lives, or making money?
Well, for me, I think wellness business is a business with good deeds, because it's, you're taking care of your guests, you're more concerned on their health, and then it's, for me, like the previous question you asked, Arthur, is what would be the investment? For us, I would say we would invest in people, because it's the skill of the people, of our team, of our staff, that they should have, for them to have knowledge, and for that knowledge for them to give the unique experience to the guests. And that is something that, with knowledge, it's how the hospitality grows.
But the thing, though, is that, I've been to Raksa, and I tell you, it is pricey, right? And it seems to me, right now, wellness is very much for the rich, right? And only the rich can afford to get healthy. Do you see a time where maybe wellness becomes more democratic, where more people get access to it? And talk to us about that partnership that you're therefore doing that's sort of more family oriented.
Yes, so Raksa Fully Integrated Wellness is our first property. The brand is luxury, as you mentioned, and November. So basically, in a month and a half, we are opening our second property in Suan Sampran. And lucky enough, we have the owner here with us. She's been attending WiT for years and years, and our group, we long lease the property, and then we transform from a hotel. 60 years of heritage. the trees, the plantation, the wellness is already there in nature. But for us to go in, how do we transform from a hotel into a wellness with the programs, the training, the offering? That is something we offer. And when we say everyone's wellness, our theme, coming away from only for luxury, wellness should be affordable and for achievable. In this term, in easy understanding is, for example, if you go in a family, the father only wants a beer by the pool, maybe some foot massage. But the mother, who's been very busy, hectic life, she wants to take care of herself. But how do they do that, when they have their 5-year-old kids? So that's why we have programs where we take care of the kids' wellness, for example. How do we have them exercise with the physiotherapist so the mom can have her own facial and the dad can relax by the pool, and everyone's happy now.
Okay, so a new market segment taking it beyond luxury. Your properties are all luxury, like
Yes,
very few people can afford your level of wellness.
I think for the moment it stays like that, hopefully. I don't think there is at any given or foreseeable future a plan to diversify into another brand layer where you kind of what you said, democratize this source of wellness. But I think what we discovered during the pandemic was making our offering much more accessible was through this virtual being that we created, right? And there were all sorts of people from all walks of life, who connected with that and who follow that. So while the hotel property product may be still very luxury oriented, our reach necessarily doesn't need to be. So if we can touch many more lives through the content that we curate digitally and virtually, I think that kind of enables and empowers a lot more.
Right. I mean, virtual is definitely an extension. I was reading a great article about a therapy bot, actually called WoeBot, W-O-E-B-O-T, which really provided a lot of therapy to a lot of people through the pandemic and remains used. And apparently, I mean, I can send you the article, but like Calm, the meditation app, so technology is enabling wellness to be a lot more democratized, and that you don't have to come to a physical real estate to actually be part of it, I think. Or
Absolutely.
maybe it
I mean, you can
extends the
just walk
experience.
out to McRitchie and just put on the app and do exactly that, what you would be doing in Shambhala estate in Bali.
Okay, we're going to wrap up. We are in travel because we love to travel, and I asked each of you to share one incredible hotel experience you've had. And Robert, you shared this one. I bet you, where's the slide for that? I bet you drank a lot of beer at this one.
I tried. I didn't get enough, actually. But yeah, it's a wonderful, I forget if it's 15th or 16th century pub in the Cotswolds in the UK. And it's like in its original form almost, but it's just so lovely. You walk in and there's the burning, we were there in winter, so it was the burning fireplace and then the pub's all there and the creaky floors and, oh, it's so nice.
So it's a wellness on its own,
Made
right?
me feel great, yeah. The
to
beer made me
it.
feel even better.
Okay, and Kunvisini, you did this. Wow, was this very luxurious?
I would say mid to upper. Why I like this hotel is the use of that, the design is very nice, and also it's the use of natural color. So when you walk in, you still feel the upbeat, but you see the trees, the color that makes you very soothing.
Very, it is. Okay, Morgan, you picked this one. Where is this? Is this in Paris?
Okay, this is an hour away from Paris, like 55 minutes-ish, in the forest, really. It's 18 cabins, quite affordable for families or people who want to disconnect and be in nature. It's just pure experience, life experience. You breathe the nature. You're in the trees. You can walk in nature. You have Nordic bath. Every cabin has a Nordic bath, a hot tub.
Okay.
Very calm, very cool.
An urban escape, and Puneet had to choose 3 of them, of course.
Because part of the same circuit, right?
Okay.
So this is a beautiful place in Sri Lanka, and guys, please continue traveling to Sri Lanka. They need all the tourism to help them. But this is Resplendent Salon. They own 4 hotels, but we stayed in 3. One is tented camps, luxury tented camps in a forest reserve. The other one is a tea estate, and they've got this old British bungalow with pretty much the same the fireplace and all. And these are all inclusive, which I think what inspired me also is that is luxury going to be all inclusive in the future? That you don't have to carry your wallet, leave the wallet behind, right? And just sign up for the program. And phenomenal nature walks, tea estate. They have a lot of activities picking the tea.
I feel good just looking at this. So thank you. Thank you, Robert, Morgan, and Visini and Puneet for taking us through the journey into the new models of hospitality. And I hope that we will get to a stage where hospitality wants to save the world, not because they have to, but because they want to. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.